get as much real-life footage as possible to reduce the amount of trickery needed. However, this can often result in some of the most dangerous-looking scenes in the story of a movie also being some of the most dangerous to capture on film. Now, directors risking their careers and stunt doubles risking their lives all means nothing if the final movie is unavailable in your country. This is where Atlas VPN excels at encrypting your data and hiding your virtual location. This means you can unlock geo-restricted content easily and simply in seconds. So go and take advantage of this huge discount on their 3-year deal for just $1.39 a month with a 30-day money-back guarantee. Make sure to check it out by clicking the link in this video's description. But is watching geo-restricted content illegal? Well, no. It's actually not. When you connect to a VPN server, your device is given a new IP address, and all of your incoming and outgoing traffic is encrypted and decrypted through the VPN server. This gives you complete anonymity and data security. Not only is Atlas VPN supported on all devices, but it also comes with a data breach monitor which constantly scours the internet and notifies you the instant it detects that any of your emails or passwords have been stolen. Atlas VPN is running a huge discount on their 3-year deal for just $1.39 per month with a 30-day money-back guarantee. This deal won't last long, so make sure you check it out by clicking the link in this video's description. Now on with the video. Jackie, the one-man show Chan, prefers to do all of his stunts on his own, and Tom Cruise is of a similar opinion, so for the helicopter battle scene in Mission Impossible Fallout, he had a lot of work to do. This scene required him to put his helicopter into a corkscrew dive. Even though Tom has flown helicopters before, the corkscrew dive is a dangerous and complicated procedure, so he went to Airbus Helicopter School in Texas and put in 8 hours a day for almost 3 months to learn how to do it relatively safely. In order to make the scene more visually appealing and to show that Tom is really flying a helicopter, the team set up external camera rigs on the helicopter to film what he was doing. This wasn't the only dangerous stunt in the scene. At one point, Tom has to climb a rope up to the helicopter, then 1,200 feet in the air, lose his grip and fall 40 feet down, hitting the rigging below and catching it just as he bounces off. This was hard to get just right. Tom was hitting the rigging fast and hard to make the shot believable. And if he didn't hit the rigging with his back first, he could seriously injure himself. But hitting it back first meant that it was hard to catch hold of it. At one point, the ground team thought he had plunged to his death when he bounced off the rigging and couldn't grab hold of it. The people on the ground saw him bounce off the rigging and then lost sight of him and frantically called the team in the air to check he was all right. The 12-minute extraction sequence in this scene seems like one seamless 12-minute take, but this isn't exactly true. The sequence is broken down into 7 different segments: a car chase, a run upstairs, a fight inside a building, a jump off one building's roof to another, a fall of an awning, a street fight, and the final car chase. These 7 segments were composed of 36 different shots, invisibly woven together using complicated stunts, invisible cuts, cameramen on foot and hanging from harnesses, and incredibly well-rehearsed fight scenes. Each segment was precisely choreographed, not only for the actors but for the cameramen too. The first transition was in a car chase. Director, cameraman, and stuntman Sam Hargrave was harnessed to a car following the action. In the first maneuver, he unstraps himself from the car that was following, walks up to the lead car and pushes the camera in through the window. He then gets into the car, puts the camera in the same position in the window and pulls it all the way through. In the second transition, the camera has to leave the car. They did this by shattering the rear window in the crash. A camera that was mounted with a sliding rail in the inside of the car's roof could then be slid out of the window. Hargrave could then grab the camera from outside to continue the shot onto the stairs, following the police until he re-engages with the main characters. For the fight in the building segment, Hargrave had to count his steps as he walked backwards to know when to turn. He had to know exactly where to position himself to avoid getting in the way and get tight enough on the action without getting hit by it. The point where Ovi turns into a doorway was used as a stitch point because the room that was intended to be used for the next segment was actually in a building 10 blocks away. Stitching was also used for the roof jumping segment in order to transition from the stunt double to Hemsworth. A similar thing was done in the next segment when they tumble off an awning onto the street. Here, Hargrave had to perform the stunt himself, wearing a harness attached to a crane to keep him upright. For the street fight scene, no cuts could be used to make the fighting seem smoother and faster or to cover up any mistakes, so both actors rehearsed the scene heavily before filming so it became like second nature. They even included a pause to let a scooter go by. For the last segment, Hargrave was attached to the rear of a car with a harness to maintain the one-shot illusion. Even though the entire scene was incredibly planned and executed, it almost ended in disaster when the driver of the car following, with Hargrave attached to the hood, didn't see the car leading until too late and hit it. Hargrave was lucky and his left foot found a gap in the wheel arch. Had they hit a few inches either way, his foot would have been crushed. So at this point you're probably thinking, dangerous stunts in movies, where's Jackie Chan? Well, the truth is Jackie Chan has been involved in so many different dangerous scenes that he deserves his own video. And if you'd like to see that, you can click the link in the top right hand corner of this video. When a film has action scenes, fighting, bullets flying, and explosions, danger is always present. So much so that during the filming of Expendables 2, one stuntman was badly injured and another was sadly killed in a staged explosion on a rubber boat. Even though every safety precaution may have been taken, unforeseen things can and will happen. Just like what happened to Jason Statham during the filming of Expendables 3. Whilst filming the Escape the Dock scene in Bulgaria, Statham was doing a run-through in a 3-ton flatbed truck and its brakes failed. Statham went over the edge of the dock and into the Black Sea, taking 2 cameramen with them. The cameramen soon surfaced, but Jason went down with the truck, with the water pouring in through the window, stopping him from exiting the vehicle. Luckily, Jason was an avid diver as a youth and a member of England's national diving team on 1 meter, 3 meter and 10 meter platforms, so he was used to the water and knew how to stay calm. Once the water had filled the cab, he went out of the window and swam to the surface. With so many famous action heroes on the set, you would have thought that at least one of them would have tried to save him, but no. When Jason reached the surface, he was met by Sylvester Stallone filming him on his phone and asking whether he needed a towel. Fast and Furious 9 had a healthy VFX budget, mainly because most of the insane stunts on the film would have been almost impossible to pull off without VFX. CG vehicles, digital mats, and digital doubles made filming a lot of the action scenes safer, but they didn't remove all the danger. Controlled real explosions, rough terrain, and other special effects meant that the driving stunts, even though painstakingly planned and rehearsed, could still go wrong in many ways. Other stunts like action scenes, fight scenes, falls, and jumps could mostly be filmed in controlled environments and then digital backgrounds added in post. This and the use of stunt drivers and stunt people removed virtually all the risk of injury from the actors, but the stunt people were still in danger. And unfortunately, on July 22nd, 2019, Vin Diesel's stuntman Joe Watts was supposed to be thrown over another stuntman's shoulder off a balcony 25 feet up. He was supposed to remain suspended by a wire in midair, but the wire failed and Joe fell 25 feet down to the concrete below. Joe was rushed to hospital via air ambulance, where he was put into an induced coma for 5 days. He had suffered a traumatic brain injury and had a fractured skull. Joe spent a month in Royal London Hospital before being transferred to Wellington Hospital, where he worked for 6 weeks to regain his basic life skills, including speech. The global pandemic has slowed his recovery, and nearly 2 years later he still isn't 100%, but is fighting to get there.